Well, good morning there and welcome. It's a beautiful Monday morning and we're so grateful to God that we are alive. How was your weekend? I hope you got some rest. I hope you had a fantastic time and I hope that you're ready for the upcoming week. Today's program, well, we knew it would happen at some point, didn't we? Right from the elections, the inauguration of Parliament, we knew there was going to come a moment like this when the majority and the minority will lock horns and perhaps something that we thought would automatically happen will not automatically happen. I'm talking about the 2022 budget. It was put to Parliament on Friday, and well, they say the rest is history. This morning, we're discussing, though, what does it mean for us if we don't have a budget? What does it mean for our spending? When are we finally going to know how much 2022 is going to cost us? What does it mean for the economy? And legally, what does it mean? Does it mean that if, one side of the House don't like something, they can just walk away? Does it mean that issues can be suspended over time whilst parliamentarians decide what they want to do? Who holds that key to the final decision? Also, what does it mean for us? Are we safe? Can we trust our parliamentarians to do what is right for us, to show up for us, to fight for us? We'll be having all those conversations this morning with a host of members of parliament. I'm not going to tell you who they are. You have to stay tuned in for that. We'll also be talking about the toll booths and everything that has gone on with that. Toll booths working, toll booths not working, hawkers turning toll booths into markets. It's been so many different discussions. We'll have that as well when our guests join us in the studio. And Friday, very sad day if you went to Prampec. I think it was a happy day if you went to Kita, because they did well. It was the middle. But of course, Prampec won the Nsmq. And if you were watching, then you remember the Prampec students who said that Prampec's motto is, "In thy light you shall see light." But there was Doomso at Prampec, and he said, "Even in darkness, we will see light." And indeed, they brought the light by beating Prampec and Kita to be the Nsmq winners. This morning, we'll be hosting them in the studio. Really looking forward to that. Also, GOAT, yes, Francisca will be joining us this morning. She made women so proud this time in the Nsmq, being the only female to be in the finals for about 9 years. And she held her head up high and she gave our girls something to look forward to. This morning, we have the honor of having her in the studio so we can have a chat. So lots and lots of fun for us this beautiful Monday morning. My name is Enimwa Enimado. Coming up next is the 6 a.m. news with Mapitso Sabidi. And after that, well, who knows? Plenty surprises. Stay tuned in. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM News with me, Mapitso Sabidi. In our first story, government has declared December a COVID vaccination month with some identified groups such as health workers, security agencies, schools and commercial drivers earmarked for mandatory vaccination. The Ghana Health Service also says no unvaccinated person will be allowed into pubs, beaches and sports stadiums. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, said the target to vaccinate 20 million Ghanaians by the end of the year is on course.
The Minister of Health, who should have been here, has asked that these are the proposed mandates which we are going to pursue. With the increasing availability of vaccines and reasonable quantity in the pipeline, we are declaring December as the month for vaccination. Or let's say vaccination for Christmas. So December is going to be declared as the month of vaccination, and it will be launched by the Honorable Minister on 30th of November 2020, well, that's Tuesday coming. This mandate, which I'm going to announce, will be applicable in January 2023 at specific groups and monies as soon as, and this mandate become effective as soon as the campaign is over. We have them in two sections. They are going to have proposed groups that will be covered under the mandate and the venues. We are looking at all the three arms of government. All health workers have been given the opportunity to vaccinate, and they stay in a very strategic position that either they can share among themselves or give to their patients. So that's why we prioritize that. And remember, we are talking about these are the people who have been prioritized at the beginning, even when we had very few vaccines. And so we expect that. All security personnel will be covered. They should be vaccinated. All staff and students in secondary and tertiary schools should be vaccinated. And so secondary schools are being given the opportunity. Started last week, Friday, from 27th, almost all regions are doing vaccination of Pfizer in schools. And so in January, you should be fully vaccinated before you come back to school. All workers in government institutions and parastatals, all commercial drivers and their mates are expected to be vaccinated at the end of that. That's where they're commanded to cover them. There are areas where the mandate to cover, that will be a venue. And this venue for now includes nightclubs, beaches, sports stadium, and restaurants for indoor dining. And these are areas that will mean that you need to be vaccinated before you can go into these venues, and that will be enforced.
Dr. Kuma Abwaje has dismissed claims that the new COVID-19 variant, Omicron, has been detected in Ghana. Some European nations, including Austria and Netherlands, have gone into lockdown, while some have banned flights from some southern African countries following the detection of the new variant. Dr. Abwaje says health officials are on high alert.
The Omicron, we have not identified one in Ghana. All people who are tested positive at the airport are sequenced, the samples are sequenced, so they've imported all of them. We also pick samples from our reference labs across the country to do sequencing. Currently, they have a bunch of about 160 that they are working on now, but there's been no indication of Omicron in Ghana. So all those messages flying around is not true. There's no case in Ghana. WR is here, and my Director of Public Health might also talk about additional the Omicron. But the issue about Omicron is that whatever it is, vaccination is key, social distancing is key, wearing of masks is key. So the preventive measures remain the same. We have not had any evidence that it will pass through a different part of what we know now. And so all the mechanisms that are in place continue to work. And we also continue our surveillance to ensure that once we discover, we look at that. Maybe the BR can add later. Why variants? I'm sure that's the behavior of all viruses. They continue changing their nature. And especially if it goes unchecked, then they continue changing.
Away from that, Emmanuel Tekbe has cerebral palsy and lives with his grandmother, who says she sometimes has to lock him in a room alone to go to the market. This piece also tells the story of 4-year-old Blessing Tete, whose leg has been chopped off after an accident. Watch this.
Up to 5 years.
His mother was around till he turned 5. She couldn't work because of him, so she left.
The sobbing of her grandmother, overwhelmed by the health condition of her only grandson. Emmanuel is 9 years old. He has cerebral palsy. His caregiver and grandmother, Madame Esther Tekbe, says to make ends meet and ensure they have food on the table, she sometimes confines him.
Pasa no po mi edo time na mi so aka mi ko di to na mi dinu atu dan no
He can't help himself. So sometimes I lock him up to go to the market. When it's time to feed him, I come back. I sometimes get scared. The other day, I got back only to see he had hurt himself.
Go around the room now.
But if I don't do that, we will not eat.
Dr. Odefor Kwame Appel says though medical assistance for Emmanuel has delayed, starting now will improve his life.
When he gets the orthopedic, it's going to help as he ages. If care is not taken, most of his joints become very fixed. And it becomes difficult for them even when they want to correct it. But baby, as young as he is, if she get the physiotherapy from now, she becomes very flexible. She can hold, even with a wheelchair, she can hold the wheelchair and probably try to pull it by himself. So as for early stage, if you get those kind of supports, and it's very expensive here in Ghana, when they ask them to go, even transportation, and when they go, the fee they pay per section, it's also a challenge.
At a medical outreach organized by the Samson Amartin Foundation with support from Morgan's Miracles at Nkrankan in the Eastern region, Emmanuel got help.
It was such a severe case, and you can clearly see that the child is at the point where they can't continue to carry him, and he literally cannot do anything for himself. And so it's not only a struggle for the child, but also for his caretakers. So on the recommendation of the therapists and the doctors today, that's the case that we chose.
Blessing Tete is 4 years old.
Very sad. And even as the name suggests, she is called Blessing. And I believe that God brought us here to fix such an issue like this. As she grows up to become somebody in life, one day she will be very, very grateful to God and even to also the ministry. So the ministry is going to take full responsibility, even not only to fix the feet, but it's also to help her to continue her education.
Comfort would need surgery to fix the problem with her sight.
It's also a typical case of the left eye is totally gone. So Samson Amartin Ministries is also going to pick this as a project,
In all, about 200 people benefited from the medical outreach.
Fortunately, there isn't any serious replicative disease that we are seeing now. Most of them that turn up today are the very aged people. The young ones were just a few, probably because they were engaged with other activities, but it's most of the aged women that came. And me and Cheryl saw a case, a lady who is 70 years, who came with a mother who is 110.
Organizers say it will be held quarterly.
Aboso Bosomtree DA School has benefited from the benevolence of a licensed cocoa buying company, Federated Commodities Limited, FEDCO, following the construction and donation of a 6-unit classroom block. The mining and farming community, located in Prestia Huni Valley municipality of the Western region, despite being endowed with natural resources, has faced several challenges, including people studying in a dilapidated school block. Correspondent Inathala Kwanza has the rest of the story.
The managing director of FEDCO, Hajia Maria Ademu Zimbo, who handed over the project to the community through the Ghana Education Service, says, as a responsible LBC, FEDCO identifies the need of the communities they buy cocoa from and help the communities as well as farmers to grow.
We have a long-term relationship with Valronas. They are a client from France. So as part of their corporate social responsibility is to help the society or the districts from which they buy the cocoa and the communities and the farmers. because they don't want just to buy, they want to know where it's coming from. So that's what we call traceability. They want to trace the cocoa to the source and to be sure that the farmers they are buying from are being trained and are also being taken care of, so that whatever profit they make, they also donate part of it to those communities to say thank you for the work that they are doing. And it's in a way also to help in these issues of child labor that we have, and then environmental degradation and all those things, is to help, to support the farmers and to be sure that the cocoa they are buying are coming from good sources, that are not tainted by any of these issues that we have.
The Municipal Director of Education, Madam Mary Vida Kofi, says such initiative go a long way towards supporting government's quest to ensuring equitable access to quality education for all. She said children in all parts of the country have a right to quality education, and so the provision of such a facility makes the right achievable.
So this alone goes to promote teaching and learning. In terms of ICT, the policy now is every child should be exposed to ICT. And this really goes to help education to achieve Agenda 2030. And so we are grateful to FEDCO for providing these facilities that we see. And we assure them that we would maintain the facility.
Nadia So, Divisional Chief of Aboso Bosomtwe, Nana Kwabramwa, expressed gratitude to FEDCO and its partners for the support, adding that the move will motivate children to attend school regularly.
Today, Bosomtwe Primary School have got computers to learn on. So far as they do the same basic subject with other schools, especially the Accra and others, the big towns. Today, we have also people to have received that materials. So we hope we are happy and we can do what the other schools can do. And so we are grateful. We are very grateful.
For Joy News in Athalia, Kwanza, Western Region.
The newly created Western North Region is one of Ghana's most underserved with the internet. The region, despite its huge natural resources, has many schools without computers. Children who learn ICT are the ones feeling the pinch. The pupils of Nsmq, Akontombra, one of the region's 9 districts, would however have a different story to tell. Ghana's largest wireless technology giant, ATC, has opened one of its digital community centers in one of the schools in the cocoa-rich community. Joy News' Justice Bedu traveled with the ATC team for the event.
The computer prayer. Our computer who asks citizens, hallowed be thy printer. We have
10-year-old Alice Amofa is saying a poem about a computer and what it does. She attends the St. James Anglican Primary School in Seshi, Akontombra. His poem draws an applause from the crowd. But everything she's saying is from a textbook. Like her, none of the pupils of the school has used a computer before.
When we are learning ICT, we don't have computers. Our teachers will draw the computer on the chalkboard and be explaining it for us. They will explain it and say this one is like this and this one is this, and explain it for us. We don't have computers, so we are taking it like that.
Today things are about to change.
On behalf of our gods, on behalf of the leaders of Akontombra and our children, I thank ATC sincerely for bringing such a massive project to our town.
We at ATC feel very privileged to have brought this project to life in Seshi, Akotombra, the very first of ATC's DCs in the Western North region. This center before you represents our ongoing commitment as a company to be a responsible corporate citizen of this our great motherland, Ghana. And we hope that we can continue to play our part as a company to ensure that undeserved communities also benefit from state-of-the-art technology in order to improve lives and drive the globalization, digitization agenda that we are currently experiencing in our country.
This center is part of many that the wireless technology giant ATC is opening up across the country. The fully air-conditioned digital center is stuffed with brand new computers of the highest specs, high-speed internet, and a backup generator, among others.
ATC Ghana, I thank you all for bringing us the computer lab. It will improve our learning.
ACT, God bless you and bless you. However, whatever you want, God should do it for you.
The company wants to do more across the country in the coming year. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Seshi, Akontombra.
Amen, 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 amen.
Board Chair of the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, Farouk Aliu Mahama, has assured the people of Dagbon that before the end of 2022, there will be an investor to kickstart mining at Chiani. The Member of Parliament for Yendi says government also intends to build an aluminum smelter that will melt the ore and create more jobs for people in the area. Martina Bugri reports.
The board members and management of GSDEC were in Sheni on a working visit. The team met with the various assemblies where the OSILs and also chiefs of the area. In an interview, the board chair Farouk Aliu Mahama said, with government owing 50%, GSDEC is also scouting for an investor, adding that Kadero is one of their targets.
Here doesn't need any natural resource estimation here. It has already been established. We've done that. We have a concessionaire. We are trying to make sure we get the concessionaire to give us a roadmap. As a board, we've met as a team. We've asked him to give us a roadmap. We have also decided to go as an organization because GSDEC is part of the ownership of the concession. 50% is for the state. And if 50% is for the state, as much as the efforts have been made by the concessionaire to also look for investors, we are also going beyond the concessionaire to look for, and we have set ourselves targets. And the target is that we are going to do targeting of people who are serious. As we already said, Russians had been here, two Kadero and some Canadians. We are going back to them to sit down on the drawing board to them, for them to come. And obviously, the rate at which the percentage that is needed for international trading to happen would happen. So very soon, as I said, before the end of 2022, we'll cut a short.
He said government is talking to an investor who would pre-finance the construction of roads in the area.
But we are not only relying on government. As I said, we are starting to talk to an investor who is coming to pre-finance most of these roads to add equity to the road, so that we then add it if he wants also to have a concession or something. It's all part of the negotiation. So we've got some people who are going to come from South Africa and Turkey. I think I was supposed to come with them, but before we have to sit down and meet the road minister and the finance minister for them, because it's a pre-finance arrangement. They are going to do the road. They're going to do the road for us, and obviously there will be a concession that we also give to them. So obviously adding equity to the land, adding equity to this area is accessibility to good roads. And when we're coming, I'm happy you, the media, assess. And obviously these are the things we're going to do to add equity to the road.
The MP for Tatale Sangule, Thomas Mboma, on his part said there are other business potentials for the area if they begin the mining of the ore. He said cement producers have already visited the area looking at the byproduct to be used for cement production. This, he said, will create more jobs for the youth.
My interest is to see the action
so that at least the teeming youth can get employment. The teeming youth can get something to do, so that the burden of people not getting work will reduce. If I will quote our deputy director over here, if we are sitting on 1.5 billion wealth, I think we don't need to call ourselves poor people. So I am just appealing to the authority. The board chairman is here, the managing director, to make sure that whatever we have to do, whatever within their power, we should be able to do it, so that within the shortest possible time, we'll see actions here, so that people of Dagbon, as a son of Dagbon, I'm interested in seeing the people of Dagbon being elevated from where we are to the higher heights.
And that's it for the AM News. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mapita CBD. The AM show continues with any more.
Well, hi there. Welcome back. This is still the AM show. My name is Anima Animader, and I'll be doing this alone and perhaps with a few surprise guests over the next few weeks. Israel is away on leave, so you have just me, all me. But I can assure you I'm more than enough. And of course, I'm not going to say anything more than that, otherwise I'm going to get myself in trouble. So we're going to get into the newspapers this morning. Let's start with a Daily Graphic. And wow, the banner headline, as is expected, uncertainty over the 2022 budget, heated debate expected tomorrow. So tomorrow, November 30th, the House will go back to continue their deliberations over the budget. But there is a lot of uncertainty after one side of the House voted to reject the budget last Friday. So tomorrow, the NPP majority side of the House is hoping to overturn the verdict, which they have described as unconstitutional, because it was just the NDC that voted. You're asking why it was just the NDC that voted? Well, because the majority walked out. The minority side remained in the House after the majority had walked out of the floor during the process to approve the budget last Friday. Now, there are lots of issues that have been raised about the legality of this. You know, we have seen, according to the Constitution, Article 104, that you need a majority of 138 for something to actually go through. And the argument is that there were not 138 members of Parliament in Parliament for that to be able to go through. So we'll be discussing that this morning, the legality of it, what it means for the economy, you know, to have our budget delayed or have our budget not approved. Now, you remember that this has only happened one time before, and happened in Liman's government, where, you know, the budget was disapproved, rejected by Parliament, and he had to go back and kind of rework it so that the budget was something that the Parliament was happy with. It is said that he actually said at one point that he was not interested in going back and forth and arguing over a budget which clearly, you know, half of Parliament didn't approve or didn't want to go through. And so he reworked it. So we're going to look out to see what happens tomorrow, and also if there's going to be a reworking of the budget, especially the e-levy, which we've been told is 1.75 on your digital transactions. And the minority have argued that if you actually put it all together, it comes up to about 3.75 and will affect our drive to go digital as a nation, and will also affect the poorer people in society who really use a lot of Momo transactions. We all do. So that's something to really look out for. We'll have that conversation in depth a little later on in the show. And of course, tomorrow we'll see what happens when Parliament resumes. Okay, so Omicron COVID-19 variant spreads. I'm sure you've been following that story as well. So Omicron is a new variant of the COVID-19. It was discovered I think November 11th or November 9th, one of them, so just a couple of weeks ago. But new cases have been detected around the world. 2 cases in Australia, as more countries try to seal themselves off by imposing travel restrictions. was first discovered in South Africa, now recorded in the Netherlands, Denmark, Belgium, Botswana, Germany, Hong Kong, Israel, Italy, and the United Kingdom. It's a variant of concern, and this is what the WHO has said, that it might be able to resist vaccines and prolong the nearly 2-year COVID-19 pandemic. It's also said to be potentially more contagious than previous variants, but experts don't know yet. And that's the thing with every new variant that comes out, you know. You're not sure what it's gonna look like, if it's gonna be more contagious, if it's gonna be more deadly. And I think the biggest question right now is if the vaccine that we have is going to be able to offer some sort of protection against Omicron. So there have been stories up and down. If you're on social media, then you saw the Botswana health minister who sort of intimated that, you know, some diplomats had brought Omicron into the country, into Botswana, and had returned to their country, and so restrictions should be spread across West Africa because apparently it came from West Africa. So lots of information going round. I think the best thing that you can do for yourself and for your family right now is remember that if you wear your mask and you wash your hands and you physically distance, you should be okay. So let's, you know, tighten up those measures. I'm sure forefront in a lot of people's minds is also how this will affect the 150,000 people that we were expecting in Ghana for Christmas, right? But if some countries are already kind of locking down and putting travel restrictions, then definitely it's going to be affected. So we'll have that conversation as well later on in the week. What measures are we going to put in place against the, you know, Christmas squad? 150,000, that's the number we were expecting. So with this new variant, how is that going to be affected? Let me continue with some of the other stories. U.S. readies fight against Omicron, but no lockdowns yet. So Americans should be prepared to fight the spread of the new COVID-19 variant, but it's too soon to say what actions are needed, including possible mandates or lockdowns by the United States. That's Dr. Anthony Fauci speaking. UK institutes measures against new variants. So that's what's happening in the UK. Boris Johnson has unveiled new measures to try to stop the spread. So now anyone who enters the United Kingdom is going to take a PCR test by the end of the second day after their arrival and self-isolate until they have a negative result. So I'm sure we'll be seeing more of that across different countries as the week progresses. Okay, let's stay with the daily graphic this morning. Okay, looks like the aftermath of the Black Friday sales. There's still a lot of sales going on. Leave pregnant BEC candidates alone. Oh, boy. Okay, this is a piece by Efia Ejapama Ofosu. She talks about what it must be like writing your BECE and being pregnant and the stigma and how people look at you and all of that. But yeah, I don't know how much we've thought about that and how the girls manage with that. But this is called Leave Pregnant BEC Candidates Alone. It's on page 12 of the Daily Graphic, so you might want to check it out. Okay, so more sales. December has been declared COVID-19 vaccination month. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the Ministry of Health has declared December vaccination month to ensure the implementation of mandatory vaccination policy from January next year. So the policy for mandatory vaccination will start with selected groups of people and patrons of selected events. Okay, so you remember that we discussed, like, if you're going to go to an event or something, at some point you're going to have to see a COVID-19 vaccine card. So I guess we're kind of upping the drive this month so that we can start to do that at some point. It's kind of like the Ghana card, isn't it? Can't really do anything without your Ghana card. It looks like very soon it's going to be can't really do anything without your COVID-19 vaccination card. But if you haven't been vaccinated, do take a minute and get vaccinated. You pop by Joy FM, actually, because we're doing a vaccination drive out front. So on your way to work or when you're off to drop the kids at school, just pop by, you know, and get it done. Okay, page 17, there's a collection of opinions, budgets, brouhaha. Different opinions, quite interesting. Okay, rally behind governments to get the budget approved. That's Dr. Awal, of course. I mean, he's in government. Wouldn't expect him to say that, you know, don't rally around government to get it approved. Okay, so there's some school application forms that are out as well. So you definitely want to get that daily graphic this morning. Aboboya Ban not had engagement with Minister. Tricycle Association provides opportunity for innovative solutions, according to ESPA. High dependency units for St. Dominic Hospital take advantage of deficits to deliver affordable housing. Minister tells industry players. Housing is always a big issue, isn't it? Okay. Page 32, President commissions $13 million cocoa processing plant. Oh boy, I'm of the firm conviction that industrialization and private sector development present great opportunities for the expansion of the economy for job creation. So let's hope that this cocoa processing plant goes from being commissioned to being run to actually producing cocoa products that go on the markets, you know, and actually getting some money. We don't want to see another Comenda or another, you know, all of those things that happen to us when we set up factories. Okay, 2021 Farmers Day begins today. So celebrations are starting today for, they say Agrobeswa free Anopa. So yeah, so that has started. Okay, daily graphic, protecting fisheries resources through community co-management systems. There's a pullout for a supplement for energy, digitalized energy sector key for resilient growth. Honor people while they are alive. That's J.A. Kufuor. And that's a picture of him being honored at the Energy Awards. It's actually quite a lovely picture. He's surrounded by the Rawlingses, this Pastor Lawrence Tete. Let me just let you see. Can you guys see? Yeah, so that's the supplement honoring ex-president J.A. Kufuor. It's actually a very, very nice picture. Nice to see that he's doing well health-wise. Okay, Premix Fuel Committee engages with MMDCE. Does weekly church attendance affect health outcomes? Scholars over the past couple of years are now of the assertion that weekly church attendance puts people on healthy grounds. Interesting. Did you go to church yesterday? For many people globally, church attendance is an integral part of their lives. They make it a point to be in church, listen to and revere their spiritual advisors. According to the University of Minnesota, there are many roles that a spiritual advisor plays. Okay, so complementary medicine, life quality, general feeling of well-being if you go to church on Sunday. Interesting, isn't it? Okay. Okay, I've done this already. The daily graphic is quite thick today. Lots of stuff in it. New Insolvency Act will grow businesses. UPSA to commence masters in pension management. 20 students receive support from ASA savings. Okay, still lots and lots of adverts and. Okay, I think I'm going to move on. Let me just do. Okay, 225 female entrepreneurs graduate from mentoring program. Veep to grace MTN Swagger Award. So that's interesting. Hearts beat. Oh God, I'm so glad that Israel is not at work today. Hearts beat JS Saura 2-0. So Accra Hearts of Oak has ended their 4-game winless streak yesterday by defeating a 10-man JS Saura of Algeria side 2-0 in the CAF Confederation Cup. So, all right. Well, congratulations, Hearts of Oak, on that win. It's nice to see that you have recovered from your winless streak. Okay, so that's the daily graphic. And like I said, we'll be talking more about the budget later on in the show. Let's do the daily guide before I get into the Ghanaian time. So Bagbin causes chaos, flies to Dubai. That's a very dramatic headline. Minister moves ECG Gridco to Kumasi over power cuts. And government alert over new COVID-19 Omicron variant. So, the page 3 talks about the budget, what happened on Friday. Again, we'll talk about it a little later on. So, but the Daily Guide is reporting that there were unruly scenes in the chamber last Friday after the majority NPP said they were boycotting the process. I think a lot of the issues also it's about the e-levy. So anyway, we'll talk about that. It's very interesting. You should get the Daily Guide. There's a breakdown of the things that happened. So interesting stuff there. Burkina Faso police fire tear gas at protesters. Woman claims third $50,000 lottery prize. Wow, a Maryland woman is celebrating after winning the lottery for a third time in 3 years. 61-year-old. She bought two $5 lucky scratch-off tickets. And wow, the first ticket didn't hit, but the second landed her a price of $50,000. That would be amazing. But it's the third time she's won $50,000 at that particular store. Interesting, huh? May luck find you this week in Jesus' name. Yeah, may luck find me. $50,000 in 3 years, 3 times in 3 years. Good stuff. Poorest face food crisis and fertilizer shortage. MP in labor cycles to hospital to give birth. Oh wow, a New Zealand MP cycled to hospital while in labor on Sunday, only to give birth barely an hour later. Government is alert over the new COVID-19 Omicron variant. So yesterday there was a presser, and the governments are saying that they're stepping up the implementation of the protocols at various entry points, especially Kotoka. They went on to talk about Omicron, and then also declaring December as vaccination month. So really increasing the vaccination that's going to be happening. Upper East records 65 defilement cases in 2020. Over 300 criminals arrested in military soup in northern regions. Prampec College wins 5th Nsmq trophy. Remember that on Friday we had Ebenezer, a statistician, who was telling us about the probability of Prampec winning just based on the number of points that they had amassed over the competition. So they won. Congratulations to them. Prampec is still serving a living God. God is living, you know, whether you've won 7 trophies or not. And God has been glorified, hasn't he? And we'll have the team in studio this morning for that conversation. Greece donates COVID-19 vaccine to Ghana. Okay, let's do some entertainment. Rocky Downey reacts to Stone Boy's Grammy nomination brouhaha. So 2-time Grammy Award nominee Rocky Downey has explained why Ghanaian dancehall artist Stone Boy can't hold himself up as a nominee for the upcoming 2022 Grammy Awards. Okay, so Stone Boy, or some people were saying that Stone Boy has been nominated because he was featured on albums that had been nominated. Do you get that right? So, speaking on City TV, Rocky Downey said getting featured on an album that has been nominated in the Grammys doesn't make you a nominee if you look at the rules and criteria in selecting a nominee in the Recording Academy. So, Shatawale Never Liked Me, that's according to Strongman. Diamond Platinum's Baby Mama caught kissing Rick Ross. Yeah, so much drama. Kanye West shares photo kissing Kim Kardashian after admitting he wants her back. Oh, Kanye West is obviously planning to win his estranged wife Kim back at all costs. The billionaire rapper took a step further at winning back the mother of his 4 children by sharing a photo of himself and the reality TV star kissing on his Instagram stories. Now there's a headline at TMZ that said Kanye West says God will bring Kim and him back together. Interesting. He tagged both Kardashians and the website. Interesting. Okay, we'll see how that will go. 1 million jobs for youth next year. That's on page 11 of the Daily Guide. Okay. There's another page that usually does entertainment. Let's see if I can find it. December in Ghana. participants to undergo COVID-19 tests. So that's what I was talking about, that with the Omicron, we're not sure how that's going to affect the 150,000 people that we were expecting for Christmas. So they're going to undergo COVID-19 tests. I think everything will really kind of hinge on the airports being super effective to make sure that nobody who's infected is able to get into the country. R2Bs collaborates with Wizkid, Stoneborough new album, and Ochiame Kwame launches Family Fun Tour 2022. Okay, some sports. Heart Stump JS Saura, Baumia for Swag Gala, and police raid Juventus offices. Okay, they're looking for some documents relating to transfers between 2019 and 2021. So that's it for the daily guide. I'm going to try and do the Ghanaian Times real quick and then go to myjoyonline.com. Dr. Awal promises to build $400,000 ultra-modern ICT center for Ghanasco. Nungwasto elders pile pressure for return of land at Spintex Road. GHS outlines measures to check COVID-19 upsurge in December. 2022 budget statement, rejected or not rejected. Majority, minority, tango over decision in Parliament. 386 suspected criminals nabbed in 5 regions. Policeman interdicted for alleged sexual assaults, harassment of women, in Ka. The Ghana Health Service has outlined measures to check COVID-19 upsurge in December. So we'll see how that goes. 13 air passengers test positive for new variant Omicron in the Netherlands. New Zealand, okay, I've already brought you that story. Okay, still some information on the climate change conference that the president attended a couple of weeks ago. You can find that on page 8. Faith-based organizations must establish factories, businesses to create jobs for the youth. That's true. I agree with that. I think it would be great if, faith-based organizations can get the youth up and working. Laboni SHS appeals to government to complete 8-unit classroom block project. Okay, center spread, rejected or not rejected? We'll be having that conversation a little later on. Do we have a budget or not? Yeah, we want to know. We really, really want to know. AMA designates pavement for Christmas trading post. So the AMA says it is aware of hawkers selling on the streets and pavements of the Central Business District of Accra. According to the Assembly, traders are allowed to sell on designated pavements and not on the streets for Christmas and would be immediately cleared after the celebrations. Okay. NIA operates over 300 centers nationwide for applicants to acquire the Ghana card. Okay, let's see what else is in the Ghanaian Times this morning. Ghana EU to strengthen bilateral relations. Ghana's energy sector debt likely to hit 7 billion Ghana cedis, wow, by close of 2021. I see a picture of Benjamin Boache. Well, it's him. He's predicted that Ghana's energy sector debt could surge to 7 billion Ghana cedis by the close of the year if urgent measures are not put in place to check debt accumulation in the sector. Okay, some sports. Camboso's Stans Lopez to become unified lightweight champion. That's interesting. CAF confirms support for biennial FIFA World Cup African Super League. COVID-19 disrupts cricket in Zimbabwe, South Africa. Ghanaian Sports Administrator Esilfi appointed to CGF Ethics Committee. And on the back page, gosh, Heart of Oak can really make noise. But when you lose, do you make this much noise? Hearts tame JS Saura in Confed Cup. So congratulations once again to Hearts of Oak. Yahaya Mohammed powers Adriana Stars over Legon Cities. Okay, that's it for the Ghanaian Times. And that's basically it. Should we just pop over to My Joy Online really quickly and see what's there? Great stuff. Okay, so minority sets 5 conditions for approving the 2022 budget. We'll get into that a little later on. Kenoforiata did not show good faith, as Asiedun Ketia. Rejection of 2022 budget. Majority should take the matter to court. COVID-19 Omicron variant. We have not identified one in Ghana. That's according to Patrick Kumabwaje, security personnel deployed to Lukula over land and chieftaincy dispute. Okay, suspension of road toll. Roads Minister must consult Attorney General on the right thing to do. That's according to a legal expert. Roads Minister cannot revoke road toll without Parliament's backing. That's according to a lawyer. COVID-19 vaccination. Over 7 million vaccines to be received before the end of the year. Over 142,000 vaccines are being administered daily. That's from the Ghana Health Service. Yesterday they had a presser, so they were able to bring us all those details. But more on the budget when we get into our conversation proper this morning. I'm sure you're itching to know about all these conditions and all this back and forth. What does it mean for the economy? You know, what does it mean for us? What does it mean for when issues are put to Parliament in terms of having them come to a consensus? What does it mean? We knew it was going to happen, right? We definitely knew that at some point there's going to be something like this. Maybe we weren't expecting it so soon. But anyways, so we'll be having that conversation with our guests this morning. Also, we will have Prampec College, winners of the National Science and Maths Quiz. They'll be joining us this morning, as well as Francisca, who has made everybody proud, especially women, for being the only girl to be in the final of the Nsmq. All right, well, we're going to go for sports, and when we come back, we'll get into all those conversations and more. Don't go anywhere. This is the AM Show.
House of Oak put behind a horrendous start to the Ghana Premier League and walked away with a 2-0 win in the CAF Confederation Cup playoff game against Joe Saura at the Accra Sports Stadium. And have there ever been an underdog story to tell in the history of boxing, rather than what George Cambasos did when he came up against Teofimo Lepers to now become the unified lightweight division's boxer? And also, who walks away with the Ballon d'Or trophy tonight? Is it Messi? Is it Cristiano Ronaldo? Is it Robert Lewandowski? We'll have details of that when we come up away at 5 p.m. The award ceremony will be live on Joy Prime. Welcome, everyone. I am Muftau Nabila Abla, and this is AM Sport. Let's start with Accra House of Oak's victory over JS Saroda in the CAF Confederation Cup. The Phobians put behind their poor domestic form to secure a good result in the first leg of their CAF Confederation playoff clash with JS Saroda. The Ghanaian champions proved too strong for the Algerian side and recorded a 2-0 victory at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday afternoon.
Later with a 3-2 aggregate victory over USK, also in the cup winners. Well, it is going to be Barnier here in the box. Good play, Barnier, and looking for some support, and there you have it. It is Salif Ibrahim with a goal. Salif Ibrahim replies, quality play. Barnier, he always has a way of getting the ball into the good areas, and Salif Ibrahim with a diving header at the fourth lead here by a goal to nil. And I was telling you about the performance of Ghanaian football clubs against the Algerian side, and Accra Hearts of Oak certainly have done their job. Injecting some fresh legs into the game here. Denchi, oh lovely, Hearts of Oak can score! And the second goal eventually comes, Accra Hearts of Oak out. And I tell you what, it is Eddie Dukwati who gets the second goal for Accra Hearts of Oak. Great cross there from the left full back, William Denchi, and he perfectly connected on for the second. Well control there by the left full back, and look at the cutback, and certainly this one should be it. It should be the second goal, and Hearts of Oak certainly will be happy about this performance.
Let's talk Ghana Premier League now, and Yahya Mohammed scored a tandem fracas as Aduana Stars defeated Legon Cities by 1-0. And also in Sega Cup, it was Wafa versus Great Olympics, and it was the Wafa boys who walked away with also a 1-0 win.
Jay. Now here is Emmanuel Jemfi. Brought down outside.
Emmanuel Jemfi there, right? Jay, lovely ball. His first touch, that is what lets him down. He doesn't really get the ball ahead of him, gets the ball into his side and gives the defenders the chance to recover that touch, yeah. But once they recover, he did well also to try weave past Aqua. He's grabbing him all day long, gets a foul right on the edge of the box.
You don't allow Jemfi to get into these spaces.
Yeah, once he gets ahead of...
To produce something special. Yahya strikes, and it's a bullet! This is incredible, Yahya Mohammed! My goodness! This is out of this world.
The job was thick, it was hard, but the strike is world class. It's brilliant. It's just a pure effort from Yahya Mohammed.
Not Aqua! And that's the final ball. It's the final whistle. It's over at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Good play from Farsana. Here's Emmanuel Ajiman.
It's a 3-on-1. He goes through the Olympics defender, sends a shot across, and nobody to do the connection as Bashiru clears the ball away.
Very disappointed for Wafa. He's driving into the face of goal, but he's on hand. Keep an eye on the rest of the Wafa team. Everybody's in behind. Nobody's in the box. Distant ball across. Anybody in that area is a tapping chance gone.
Lawrence Ejekum. Lovely ball to Farsana, who sends a cross in, and Gabriel Ludakpa called to duty in the process.
He's had very little to do today. He's been called upon, steps off his line commandingly, and he wins the ball. I think it's from the falling that he's complaining of something. Or maybe it was barged into there. Yeah, I'm not sure it was barged into his falling.
Team. Here is Akbevo. Asamani. And Marvin Owusu goes down in the box, able to converse.
Yeah, but that's the incident again. As soon as he goes down, he gets his head in his hand because he knows what he's done. Right there, he's looking at the ball, but that is a penalty. It's poor defending. You have to be aware of your surroundings. He wants to win the ball, but once you clatter into your man like that,
whistles. Tosuche steps forward, and he makes it 1-0 for Wafa. Justus Tosuche has won the game for the West African Football Academy. He scored last week, and he scored today. Anna Walker, disappointed.
There, that's the penalty from a very confident one. That little starter. Goalkeeper showed his hand first, and Tosuche.
Now let's hear from the head coach of Legon City, Maxwell Konadu, who believes that his team did not take advantage of the opportunities that came their way. And also, just gone by, as you saw, that penalty awarded to Wafa, many had described it as a controversial one, but the head coach of Wafa said that despite that penalty, they were a team that deserved to win.
Aduana had an early free kick and they took it. We had the same thing, but we couldn't take ours. This Ghana Premier League, you have to take your chances. Then that is one thing we have to understand. We have to take our chances. So we've accepted the defeat, though we know we played better, but it's a defeat that I think we gave this match away. So we only have to go back and work hard and try to take our chances when it comes.
Talking about chances, how frustrating was it for you on the bench watching your players squander as many chances that came your way?
No, there's nothing you can do. I mean, the chances came. We did all the effort that we were supposed to do, but I think the goalkeeper was good on the day. So we only have to go back, fight back, and try to go to Obuasi and also win.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we deserved to win, to be honest. I know we got a penalty at the end, but, you know, we were near the box. We controlled the ball the entire game. We were playing well. We were moving. And, you know, we were lucky at the end to get a penalty, but I thought we should have, regardless of the penalty, I thought we could have won the match. We deserved to win. I don't care what people say, man. We deserve to win today.
and what would you say about that penalty call?
Yeah, you know, it's what happens. I'm not going to speak about it. Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it goes against you. It's just part of football. I thought there was contact, but we can discuss all we want. But the bottom line is that we had the ball, we created chances, we proposed the game, we wanted to be protagonists, and, you know, we got to win.
Let's do some rugby now, and the male and female national rugby teams have qualified to the final phase of the Rugby Sevens Pre-World Cup qualifiers after winning the West Africa zone. The Rugby Sevens Pre-World Cup qualifiers, which came off at the Pajo Stadium in Kumasi, had Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Niger and Benin participating. Love Sports' Steve Zando was there and came through with this report.
Ghana battled 5 other countries, Niger, Togo, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast and Benin, to win the coveted title. In the male category, Ghana began on a promising note, whitewashing Niger 32-0 before a comfortable 50-0 victory over Benin. Ghana beat Benin yet again in the semis and went on to win the trophy after a hard-fought 17-15 win against Burkina Faso. Head coach of the team, Lovemore Kozerera, is not surprised Ghana emerged champions.
You see, we believe in character. Every team has its own identity. Our identity is winning. We have not been losing in these tournaments. So we knew that coming into this tournament, we were the team to beat. We needed to show character. Even when we were down, we came back, win those matches. Even when things were not working, we made it work. This team has character. Even the girls, same thing applies. They're back on the walls against Burkina Faso on their game 2. We needed something to make sure we win. They dig deep, they win. This is a Ghana character. Ghanaians, which I know is from the day one that I came into Ghana, they have that character of coming back from anything. So they came back even when their backs were on the wall.
The national female team, the Eaglets, were also impressive, comfortably thrashing Togo 51-0 in their first game. The Eaglets struggled in the early part of their second game against Burkina Faso, but recovered brilliantly to secure a hard-fought 19-17 win. They secured comfortable wins against Benin and Cote d'Ivoire and finished as overall winners with 12 points. For captain of the Eaglets and MVP Portia Mensah, the victory did not come on a silver platter.
It hasn't been easy for us since day one, but we know that we are going to make it. That's why we are here. Through training up to now, it wasn't an easy for us. In the next one, we are telling Ghanaians that we are going to win the Commonwealth game and then we'll go to the World Cup.
Both the male and female rugby national teams are through to the final stage of the Rugby Sevens World Cup qualifiers. The Rugby Sevens Pre-World Cup qualifiers was staged at the KNUST's Pajo Stadium in Kumasi. President of the Ghana Rugby Football Union, Herbert Mensah, is grateful to Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II for his immense support.
Everybody knows my love and respect for Otumfuo. He has greatness. Everybody needs somebody they believe in. For me, it is Otumfuo. As I've said many times, and I said at Menchia, there are things that Otumfuo permits and there are things that Otumfuo does not permit. And I know where to go. I consider him a father figure. I consider the relationship I have is one that I treasure. I really do. I have all of these decades. And when I run into difficulty for this, and we shouldn't forget that His Excellency the President, without him we would not have had the competition. Let's not be confused.
Let's do some boxing now. And Australia George Kambosos Jr. has pulled one of boxing's greatest recent upsets, becoming the unified IBF, WBO, WBA and the ring lightweight title champion. The 28-year-old Sinesider stand unbeaten favorite Teofimo Lopez via split decision 115, 111, 115, 113, 113, 114 to win the belt. And it was Teofimo Lopez who defeated Ghana's Richard Kome to win the IBF lightweight title. And unfortunately, he's lost it to George Kambosos. Richard Kome himself will be in action on December 11 as he seeks to become a two-time world champion. It's been a pleasure coming your way with AM Sports. I am Muftar Abla. The show continues right after this.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Well, hello there, good morning, and welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the AM show here on Joy News, and if you've been with me since the morning, well, I'm glad that you're still here. So we're getting into our major conversation of this morning, and I'm sure it's top of your mind, top of everybody's mind, the budget 2022 and the happenings in Parliament. So we're going to get into that conversation. Joining me this morning, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo.
You master it with time.
My kids are everywhere as well, but I don't. Yeah. Okay. So yes, I'm not going to try and repeat it. He's the MP for South Day, and Vincent Eko Asefa, who is the MP for Tafo. A little later on, we'll be joined by some governance and legal experts as well. So, so Dr. Rashid Draman will be joining us, Executive Director, Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, and Professor Lon Mensah, Senior Lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
I see you came with the Constitution and some legal documents. Gosh, okay. Let's get into the conversation, though. So I started off this morning saying that we all expected that something like this, well, most Ghanaians expect that something like this will happen at some point, but the way that Parliament was split. So let me just start off this way. Were you expecting, and Vincent, let me start with you. Were you expecting it to be this soon, this kind of, gridlock, headlock, stamping feet, walking out, we disagree on things? Were you expecting it to be this soon?
Well, let me say a very good morning to you, our cherished viewers, and my good friend, lawyer Dafiamepo. Did I mention it well?
You tried.
Okay. On Friday, the Ghanaian people were watching with so much eagerness and anxiousness to see the 8th Parliament of Ghana to be able to pass the 2022 budget statement and economic policy. Unfortunately for us, the attitude of the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Alban Bagbin, was quite irresponsible. His actions were reckless, and to put it, it was a devil maker. I'll say this because the whole issue was triggered because of how he led the House of Parliament that Friday. Now, if you check the standing orders of Parliament, or before I even come to the standing orders, I will check from the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, which clearly speaks about the role that Vice President, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers of State can also play in the House of Parliament. Now, if you check Article 111, it clearly states that the Vice President or a minister or a deputy minister who is not a member of Parliament shall be entitled to participate in the proceedings of Parliament. Emphasis mine. Shall be entitled to participate in the proceedings of Parliament and shall be accorded all the privileges of a member of Parliament. Shall be accorded all the privileges of a member of Parliament.
So you're saying this in reference to the finance minister being asked to leave?
Yeah, I'll get there. All the privileges of a member of parliament, except that he is not entitled to vote. All the privileges of a member of parliament. And so the finance minister, the deputy finance minister, who were in the chamber at plenary, were supposed to be accorded all the privileges of a member of parliament whilst in chamber. And so, if the deputy majority leader calls for a division, and calling for that division will mean that the lobby will have to be cleared. And the standing orders of parliament is also very clear. If you check the standing order 114, it said that in the case of a division, Mr. Speaker shall direct that the lobbies be cleared. It didn't say the plenary will have to be cleared. Remember, I've already read Article 111, which suggests that a minister of state or a deputy minister of state who is at plenary will have to be accorded all the privileges as a member of parliament.
Does it not also say that non-members of parliament, when there's a division, are required to leave?
Where did it say that?
No, I'm asking, does it not also say that?
No, that's what I'm saying, that Article 111 of the Constitution says that members of parliament are supposed to be accorded all the privileges of a member of parliament, and of course they are entitled to participate in all proceedings in the House, but they don't have a voting right. So I am saying that on what grounds that the Speaker, who at the beginning of every proceedings in parliament reads the opening prayers and tell every Ghanaian that Ghana is a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good, will have to give such a ruling and say that the finance minister, who has brought his budget in parliament, and of course was in parliament that day for a specific reason, and that reason was to call for more time for engagement because of the issues that have been raised by the minority. How on earth do you call a marshal that the marshal will now have to go and lead the driving away of the finance minister and the deputy finance minister, especially when there is no imminent threat to the proceedings of parliament, or there is a presumption that the finance minister is going to, as it were, be a stumbling block in the proceedings of parliament. Then you direct a marshal that they should sack the finance minister and the other people out there. I don't understand how you make this ruling. And that is the reason, that is the trigger for where we are now. And that is why I described the Speaker of Parliament's conduct as a devil maker, and Ghana may be in a standstill because of how the Speaker of Parliament has decided to lead the House.
I see.
It is very unfortunate. It is a sad day for Ghana. This is not an issue of the majority or the minority, but this is the kind of leadership that the Right Honourable Agban Babin has decided to show to the people of Ghana, and it is now leading Ghana to a point where we don't have to get to.
Okay, so if I'm getting you clearly, your issue, first of all, is with the way that the Speaker of Parliament handled.
That is the trigger.
Okay, so that's the trigger. That's okay. So what do you think?
I am restraining myself.
Oh, don't restrain yourself.
No, because you see, Vincent is a close friend. I would have gone ballistic on him, but I won't. I will maintain my composure.
Okay.
And I will urge him to withdraw the use of the use of language like an irresponsible conduct on the part of the Right Honourable Speaker, devil maker, all those things, or devil making. I will urge him to withdraw and apologize to the Speaker. It will serve him well. He's a young person in Parliament. We are all young, but at least I'm senior to him. At least I'm senior to him.
Bro.
we should take our time.
The statement that minority issued
no, hold on.
The heading of the statement.
Hold on.
That the majority leader was irresponsible. I mean,
no, but you cannot. You can say minority were irresponsible. That will be fine. But you cannot direct an irresponsible. You see, the same standing order says you cannot impugn improper motive to the speaker. You cannot question the act of the speaker. You can't. You can't do that. So you don't sit on a national TV and do that. We are young people. We must take our time when there are issues. The seniors can say some of those things, but we young people, we should make our points without being using vile language.
I see. Okay.
That being said, it is most inaccurate for the majority to allege that the conduct of the speaker on the day was one that was not above reproach.
Okay.
Why? They brought a statement to Parliament that we were to meet on Friday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
The business statement that was submitted indicated clearly that the leaders were to conclude the debate on Friday.
Okay.
Now, business was scheduled to commence at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., we got to Parliament by 8:30. Had our caucus meeting by 9. And by 9:30, the minority were ready.
Okay.
From 10 a.m. till about 1:45 p.m., the majority refused to step in the chamber.
Okay. What's the reason for that?
Hold on. Well, hold on. He refused to speak to... Hold on. Please. He refused to speak to those things.
Okay.
As a very responsible party leading government, you refuse to come and lead government business. At 1:45, Speaker was compelled to call the House to order and suspend the House because you were nowhere to be found. He had to be told in the chamber that you were holding a caucus meeting. You needed 30 minutes. Between 10 a.m. and 1:45, the MPP still needed 30 minutes to hold a caucus meeting. That 30 minutes that Speaker suspended the House and gave them, they sauntered into the chamber at 3:45 p.m. Speaker entered the chamber or resumed proceedings at 4 p.m. After some initial issues, the leaders concluded the debate.
Okay, I really want you to continue. 1 second.
Yes.
But I really want Vincent to confirm for me that this is indeed what happened. The NPP did not show up till 3:45. At 1:45, you asked for 30 minutes. True or false?
Let me answer by saying this. Assuming for a
true or false, then you can explain.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
No, true or false,
then
you can explain.
True or false later.
No.
I think we should set that.
Then you explain the answer. Then false. No, I'm not host.
Because I think that context is important.
I was very quiet.
So if we're picking from the back to the front, then it's difficult for our listeners to follow the events that happen. So you were supposed to meet at 10 o'clock.
It is true.
It's true that you showed up at 3:45.
There was a delay in the majority appearing in the House. But don't forget that the finance minister was in the House
for 3 hours, 45 minutes.
Please.
The finance minister,
when he was talking, I was very quiet because I wanted the people.
I just wanted him to clarify that we
were looking for a very simple answer.
I mean, we are
friends. It's not that I am saying.
Let me answer this.
Okay,
so the finance.
If you want us to put that aside, then
we cannot put that aside. The finance minister was in the chamber asking the House, or if you like, the Speaker of Parliament, that he needed more time to do negotiation and negotiation.
Please, my co-host says which chamber?
Your co-host.
Which chamber?
Because this is where the situation
was not in any chamber.
He was.
They should stop confusing themselves. No, my brother.
The first question that was put by the Speaker of Parliament was that The finance
we
minister
haven't
is
gotten
now
there. No,
I'm
we
not
haven't.
giving the reason why
no,
we delayed.
No, we haven't gotten there.
Let me give you the reason why
because
we delayed.
up until 3:45, there was no actual.
No, between 10 a.m. and 3:45.
Yes. There was nothing was actually
That is what I'm
happening.
explaining. I'm explaining to you.
No, so I agree
there was a reason, and that reason was that we needed to do more consultations on the budget.
Okay, so can I continue?
You get it?
I think
it is on that basis that we came to Parliament.
Okay, can I continue?
More time.
Can I continue?
But how are you consulting on the budget after the budget on that day? Is that not supposed to be done?
The engagement in the consultation
Thank you.
is not normally on the house, if like in the House of Chamber, because the executive arm of government will now have to do the proper consultation. And I agree that indeed we need to do some revision as far as the budget is concerned.
So why was it directed that that issue should be concluded by Friday, if all these things had been
My dear, let me finish. Let me continue with my
standard procedure.
Hold on. Let me continue with my. So the people who were complaining about the conduct of Speaker themselves sat out for almost 6 hours.
Yeah.
Without finding it necessary to come and lead their own business in the chamber. Almost 6 hours. And you want to blame Speaker? Is Speaker the majority leader? Speaker was even magnanimous to the extent that he saw it fit to suspend, to contain you. If the finance minister came to Parliament and is walking about, he didn't come to the chamber to do any consultation.
Okay.
So if he's consulting the majority themselves, that is their business.
Okay.
But our business was for them to come, so we go ahead with whatever had been planned for the day. It took them 6 hours. Now Speaker comes, then they suggest that the business that has been scheduled for the day, for the leaders to conclude the debate, should be suspended, so that the finance minister will now move a motion to hold further consultation. If this is not incompetence, I don't know what it is. You prepare a budget, now you want to consult on the budget. Because you see, we began to raise issues with the budget. So procedurally, they got everything wrong. He's reading some law. And he says what? After the leaders concluded the debate, instead of the question being put, they now stampeded the House to allow the finance minister to move a motion. Hold on. Meanwhile, the question that was supposed to be put was already in respect of motion number 10. And this is the motion that this Honorable House approves the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2022. Moved on Wednesday, 17th November 2021 by the Honorable Minister for Finance, Mr. Kanye, and seconded on Tuesday, 23rd November 2021 by the Honorable Member for Obuasi West, Mr. Kwekwa.
So, okay, so this was Wednesday. This was moved on Wednesday.
Hold on.
But I think after the public's reaction...
Hold on. You see, I want to take this methodically.
Okay.
The finance minister had already moved the House
to approve the budget.
To approve the budget.
But it doesn't negate.
Hold on. Hold on. Then the majority leader now says that he is supposed to be given opportunity to move a further motion to, as it were, vary this motion. You understand me?
Okay.
All the speaker accommodated you. You get my point? Speaker accommodated you.
I completely understand.
And you go out and insult speaker.
Okay. So right now,
hold on. It's not. I'm not done.
Right. Okay.
Then they lost. Then the vote. Then the question was put. Then they lost the voice vote. And you know why? Clearing the lobby within the terms of Order 114 was necessary?
No, tell us.
Because the deputy majority leader contested the outcome of the voice vote. How was the voice vote conducted? They asked those who were in favor of the motion that the finance minister be given opportunity to consult further. They lost it. Where was the finance minister sitting when the yes vote if the voice vote were delivered? He was sitting among them. The finance minister was not the only minister of state in the chamber. We had the minister of transport in the chamber. We had the Minister of State in charge of Minister of Finance in the chamber. Okay. And hold on.
Clarify for me. No, on the same point, just clarify this for me. For our listeners who don't know the proceedings of Parliament, and because what you're saying is very key, when you talk about a voice vote, it is when you guys shout there.
Yes, we don't shout. So don't say that we shout.
So I mean, I'm saying that. So the yes or the no is in terms of volume.
Thank you.
Which is why then it is imperative that people who do not actually have a vote.
Thank you. Hold on.
Where it comes
no. It's
important.
No, you read the Constitution to create a mischief, and I want to cure that mischief.
You can still be in the gallery.
You can't be in the gallery and do that.
You can't.
Please, you can't.
You can't be in the gallery.
Okay, let me go to Professor Lord Mensah for a second.
Let me finish.
I'll come back. You are here with me. I'll come back to
you. You are.
Okay, 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Uninterrupted.
Thank you. They lost the voice vote and proceeded under order 113 and called for a division. When you call for a division, procedurally, the lobbies will have to be cleared. And in clearing the lobbies, you take out all non-members of Parliament.
Okay.
Why are they concerned about Ken Oforiatta and not about the Minister of Transport? Or Edubwany? Is he not a Minister of State? Or the Foreign Affairs Minister, Ayokobuche? Why is it this focus on Ken Oforiatta? He was not the only Minister of State in the chamber. So they cannot, majority, the MPP, cannot determine the rules for Parliament today. These rules, Michael Okoye applied it. And before Michael Okoye was applied by Sechi Hughes and Doa Jaho and all. So why is it that today when we want to vote, when we want to do a head count, Oforiatta must sit in the chamber so that he will add to their vote? This is the same party that when we voted,
they was not adding to their votes.
Please, he was sitting in the gallery.
I get the difference, but I'm not saying that.
Okay,
please
I'm going to speak to Professor Lord Mensah now. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Gentlemen, can I please speak to... Okay, I need 5 minutes to speak to Professor Lord Mensah, and then we'll come back and continue. Good morning, Prof.
Yeah, good morning to you, and then good morning to our viewers, the panelists at the studio.
I'm sure you're following the conversation.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so right now we're having a back and forth on the process and who should be there and who shouldn't be there and all of that. I mean, you have been following it since Friday. What's your initial take on what's been going on so far?
Yeah, I think, you see, this is a business of the government. And it's a business of the nation. And obviously, I cannot speak to whether this person is supposed to be there or the other person is not supposed to be there or not. I don't know the parliamentary procedures that much. But then my understanding is that the factions in parliament should be able to understand that, this has an economic impact. Already the country is losing, because we need the government's business to start running, And so if we keep on delay, and then as a result of that, the delay does not save us much cost, I think we are causing the country a big problem. And so my belief is that the two parties should come to a convergent point. And I believe what the minority is requiring from the majority is not much of a problem. I mean, the budget comes with certain policies that minority thinks it will overburden Ghanaians. And if it will overburden Ghanaians, then obviously there should be, a way of, coming to a convergent point, a point where maybe a levy has been introduced and minority thinks is so much, then it has to be reduced. A point where certain policies are, required by the current administration and minority things, it will put the country at a risk. And so they should come to a point where they will all compromise. Now, if you take what is being required by the minority, clearly, I think I can put it in 5 things where I believe that when the government sit down and if consultations were to go on properly, I don't think we would have got into this, stalemate kind of budget discussions. Now, if you look at the numbers in Parliament now, clearly you realize that these days you cannot easily have your way through. The numbers are almost equal. We're talking about 137 thereabout, and an independent candidate coming in. And of course, you may never know who can swing to the other side. Looking at what happened during the elections of the speaker, I watched it throughout the night. And it gives you the signal. It was giving us the signal that the parliament is going to be a complete parliament, different parliament altogether, for which you may want to roll out policies as a government, but you won't have your way as it used to be.
Yeah.
And so if you want to introduce new things that you think in a way it will overburden Ghanaians, we should have done a proper consultations at both ends of the party of parliament before even the budget will be read. So for me, this is something that we can easily come to a point where we will accept at both sides. I understand that minority is talking about the e-levy, the 1.75, which they think is not a pro-poor kind of
Prof, before we get into the substantive issues of the contents of the budget, I would like to finish up the procedure issues and also the governance issues, because I think it's about decision making. So before we get to the economy, let's talk about the decision making aspect of it, because ultimately nothing has been decided. As your meeting tomorrow, are you going to show up on time?
Parliament has decided. Parliament has decided.
It's my turn.
Parliament, no, it's not your turn. You stole some of my
time. The question was addressed to who?
No, it's addressed to me. Oh, Parliament has taken a decision.
You're now determining what this.
Parliament has taken a decision. The budget has been rejected. What they are out there saying is that they disagree with that decision, or they are contesting that decision. And our standing orders are very clear that if you disagree with the position of the House, you know what to do. So they intend to file a motion, which we are ready for them tomorrow. But let us get this. Let nobody suggest that the finance minister had the right to stay in the chamber during head count.
I think so. That's your
substantive during head count. He has no right to be there.
That's okay. I'll give you the chance to respond. I want to speak to
let me top it up. How does a government bring the budget to Parliament and walk away from the budget?
They were consulting.
They were consulting. The minority to approve the budget.
So I actually want Dr. Rashid Rahman to answer that question.
But you have allowed him to speak
Dr.
for about 20 minutes.
I'll come back to you. Dr. Rashid Rahman, Executive Director for Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Good morning, Dr. Rahman.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning to honorable members and the professor.
Thank you. So, I mean, you just had the question that was asked here. How does Parliament, or how do members of Parliament bring to the floor representing government something that they are trying to put through, which is the budget, and then walk away from it? I think you probably the best person.
Members of Parliament. I'm saying, how does a party-forming
government
submit a budget for approval?
Submit a budget for approval.
They show emotional immaturity because you walk away from the budget.
Can we please let Dr. Rahman? So I think that you're probably better placed to referee this match that's going on in the studio. So what do you think, about what has happened so far?
Well, maybe let me answer the first question. In all my dealings with our parliament, for the past 20 years, I've been following and working closely with our parliament. I have never seen this happen. Of course, we are in a different time altogether. This parliament is unlike any other parliament that we have seen before. And then when you take it on the African continent and globally, I have never seen a walkout by the party that is in government. I mean, walking away from their own policy. So I have never seen that. So this is a first, and perhaps we might have to do some studies to try and understand maybe what is all behind this. But let me come to this whole kind of my impression about what is going on currently. You know, when I reflect carefully over what is going on, the question I keep asking myself, because we have done many studies, and over the years, you know, we have categorized parliaments into three when it comes to budget-making powers. You have maybe at the top the budget-making parliaments that have real power to make the budget. Then you have the budget-influencing parliaments in the middle, and at the bottom you have parliaments that do not have very much power to make or influence the budget. And over the years, we have placed our parliament in the third category. And I think that all of a sudden I woke up to realize that no, it looks like our parliament has real powers and can be in the category of either the first or the second. But what it means is that over the years, Ghanaians, ordinary citizens like us, have been shortchanged by both parties, mainly because of the numbers that they have in the House. So that we've never seen a situation, whether in the 6th Parliament, in the 5th Parliament, 4th, 3rd, when a challenge like this has been mounted when it came to approving the policies of government so that the budget process can run its course. And I think it's quite unfortunate for our country. So what is happening now is opening up, you know, if you like, some window in terms of our budget politics and so on and so forth. And then another aspect of it, if I may add, is that over the year, at the beginning of the year, right from January 7, after what characterized the election of the speaker, some of us have been calling for, you know, a lot of consensus, a lot of dialogue between the two sides. Because even when you have big numbers, you always have to make sure that democracy is not one-sided, and decisions that are taken by Parliament are not one-sided. We need continuous dialogue, continuous building of consensus. I hear the Minister of Finance, making a prayer for the Right Honorable Speaker to allow him to do some consultation with the minority side to build some consensus. It was a very good initiative, but I thought that it came rather too late. That was not the time, the moment that the votes are going to be counted was not the moment for this consensus building. I would have thought that, you know, right from the day the budget was read, the minority raised a lot of concerns. I think the Minister of Finance and his team, as well as perhaps the leadership of Parliament, would have, you know, if you like, try to engage the minority to try and understand their concerns, so that if there was anything that needed to be done, because at the end of the day, we must all remember, even in advanced democracies, look, President Biden took several trillions of dollars of a bill to Congress. At the end of it all, he got half of what he was asking for. So usually there's a lot of negotiation and there's a lot of give and take. The NDC might not have all the kind of its demands, accommodated in the budget. But I believe there are certain demands that can be accommodated because the finance minister, from where he sits, has the bigger picture in terms of the envelope that we have, in terms of what we need as resources to run the country. And Parliament must also be concerned, not only checking expenditure, but must be concerned about how we generate the revenues and so on. Exactly. So I think some dialogue is needed and some continuous discussion.
Okay, so the minority have listed 5 things that they want amended if they're going to approve the budget. So I'm sure tomorrow that will come up. But I just wanted to find out, do you think that when we finished the elections and this parliament was inaugurated, perhaps we should have done a little bit more consultation into clearing up situations like this? Because this kind of thing hasn't happened since, I think it was Liman. That was the last time that something like this happened. And because of the numbers, we always knew that there will be, you know, some sort of issues that may come up. Do we now, is this a good time to now say, okay, let's look at some of these issues, let's put procedures in place to address how these things are handled? Should we do that, or are we just going to continue to kind of play it by ear? So every time there's a major issue, you know, one side of parliament can decide, I'm going to walk out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
No, I think honestly, we were expecting a lot of gridlock right from day one when this parliament was inaugurated. And I mean, some of us said the way to avoid the gridlock is to have some kind of mechanism in place. There are going to be a lot of surprises. I mean, this is not the end. We have 3 more years to run the course of this 8th parliament. So the earlier the two sides sit down and make sure that that you know, some kind of mechanisms are put in place to deal with some of these thorny issues, I think the better for both parties. Because look, the message is this: the NDC has to play its role in terms of holding the government to account.
Accountable, okay.
The MPP has to play its role in terms of running the government. But, you know, when you have situations where we have gridlock and then it starts biting citizens, then, you know, the NDC might begin to lose favor from citizens, because their actions might begin to have some counter effect. So they have to be very pragmatic in terms of how to deal with this, how to use their numbers. And they have to be careful the choice of issues and matters that they deal with. Of course, they have to play their role, and they have to, I mean, hold the feet of the government to the fire. But, you know, they have to be very measured in this, so that at the end of the day, their actions can have the needed effect of projecting them as a good alternative
okay.
current dispensation that we have.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Rashid Draman, Executive Director, Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Thank you for your time this morning. So I want to talk to Professor Lord Mensah so that we can just conclude on some of the issues concerning the economy. Then I can come back in studio and then give Vincent the chance. He's bursting with so much to say. Give him the chance to express how he feels about it. So, Prof, just on the actual economy, I mean, what does it mean if this issue cannot be sorted out quickly? What does it mean for us? Because we're all wondering how much 2022 is going to cost us. We're wondering, you know, how much power even, you know, does the minority have to sort of hold the legs of Ken Ofori-Atta, I'm just using his name to represent the institution, to amend things such as the e-levy, which is what the minority are asking for. They have 5 issues that they want to be addressed. The Keta Defense Project as well. What does this mean for us in terms of money in our pockets?
Well, if you look at the happenings, you should understand that in management of every economy, a delay is a cost. I mean, so if they should hold on, you know, with this back and forth, and we prolong the approval of the budget, I think it's going to cost the country more. And a situation where immediately after the budget was read, we started implementing some of the things in it without necessarily waiting for approval. All these things comes at a cost. So for me, I think it's about time they have they get to a convergent point so that the country can start running. The majority shouldn't hold it up that they will have their way because of numbers or because they are in power. I think when it comes to negotiations, sometimes you have to give in and then allow some things to go. And in the end, we can all have a country, Ghana, to run. So effectively, and then let's also note that with this, investors are watching. We live in a country where government spending is what stimulates the economy. And so it's not a private sector. And so we should be careful, because the investor is watching us, looking at what is going to happen. And if we continue to go back and forth, I think they will start moving out of the country. So let's be careful how we go about this. I believe tomorrow, which is Tuesday, when they meet, with the days that the weekend and over, there has been some consultations behind us, and on Tuesday we will get approval for this budget.
Okay, well, thank you. You sound hopeful, so maybe we should take a cue from that. Thank you very much. For the budget.
Which budget?
The 2022 budget.
The 2022 budget has been rejected. The professor should understand that.
Okay, we are coming to that.
He should advise.
Can I say thank you to him?
He should advise the government
doing this. You cannot be doing this.
To swallow a bitter pill, go back.
No. You cannot.
And do the right thing and come back.
Host.
And stop saying that by tomorrow we should expect the budget approved.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Parliament has already taken a decision. No, his opinion is wrong.
He has said his opinion.
He should be condemning the government.
Okay, Vincent, let me come to you now, because I think
you cannot put something on nothing. You cannot. Under no circumstance will you ever convince me or even a 12-year-old child that this budget has been rejected. You cannot put something on nothing. Now, the standing orders of Parliament, Article 109, Section Order 109, which has been lifted in extenso from the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, that is Article 104. It's very clear on how voting is supposed to be done in the House of Parliament.
Yes.
And now even the heading is voting in the House. That Order 109 says that no question for decision in the House, no question, emphasis mine, for decision in the House shall be proposed for determination unless they are present in the House not less than 1/2 of all the members of the House, and except otherwise provided in the Constitution. The question proposed shall be determined by the majority of the votes of the members present and voting. Okay. Now, simple mathematics. There cannot be any mathematical sense to ever conclude that the House of Parliament, at the time that the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, was seated as the Speaker of Parliament, ever had that number as required by the Constitution of the Republic and the Standing Orders of Parliament. Because we are 275 members of Parliament, you need 1/2, which is 137.5, which you can safely run it up to 138. You cannot be 137 and tell me, and if the able professor is telling you that, hopefully, the budget will have to be passed. Then you don't understand why he is saying that the budget will have to be passed. Because clearly, every reasoned person out there knows that this budget has not been passed because it was passed by 137.
Were you 138?
No, how can you even ask this question?
Let him finish. I will handle him. Let him finish. I will handle him.
Ask this question. That were they 138? The members of Parliament who are at the NDC side, which is the minority, per the records, officially, they are 137. You cannot assume, you cannot presume, under no circumstance, to ever think that it can make a mathematical sense for anybody to assume that, oh, the NDC were having 138. No, that cannot happen. So I am telling you that there hasn't been any approval or whatsoever with respect, rejection or whatsoever with respect to the budget that was tabled in the House. Whatever the Speaker of Parliament and the minority did in the House of Parliament at that day is unconstitutional. It is illegal, and for that matter, it is safely declared as ultra-virus. We, the majority side, walked out of Parliament, and I have to make that point clear, that it is not as if the majority side were working out from their own budget. No. What preceded the supposed walkout is an essential and critical background that all of us will have to understand. Very, very essential. Because you cannot tell me that people who come to the House of Parliament, some of them will have to leave, but others will have to stay. The NPP side or which is, if you like, the majority side of Parliament, walked out because the laws, or if you like, the Speaker's discretion was not applied in a fair and just manner. If you are asking the Finance Minister to leave, the General Secretary of the party should also leave, because eyes and nose are going to be made based on noise. Wherever you sit in the chamber, you can say aye. Wherever you sit in the chamber, you can say no. It is possible that it will affect the judgment of the Speaker of Parliament. It is on that basis that the majority side was calling for fairness and just with the ruling and discretion by the Speaker of Parliament. Nobody should ever deceive himself that the minority side, per the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and the standing orders of Parliament, which governs the proceedings of the House, has ever rejected any budget statement. No, they don't have that legal right. They don't have that mandate to reject any budget. All members of Parliament will be in the House tomorrow, God willing, and we are now going to ascertain whether there was a supposed rejection or otherwise.
Okay, and would you like to respond to that? Yes, sure.
He's blowing hot air, a lot of hot air. Let me school him small. When you call for a division, a division means a vote has already been taken. It's like an appeal in a court case. You are aggrieved with the outcome. So you are appealing that a certain process be initiated. Who called for the division? Their deputy majority leader. He called for the division. When he called for a division, certain processes will have to be taken into consideration. How is that done? There must be a head count. You cannot expect a stranger to sit in the house when we are doing a head count. And I'm so scandalized that they are refusing to appreciate that.
Defined by what?
Hold on. Please, when you were talking, I was quiet.
Senior, you please do that.
Please.
Defined by what?
Please.
Article 111 is very clear. On the privileges that we are supposed to be met to the Vice President. Are you saying that if the Vice President was in the House, you sack him?
Vincent, don't let our friendship suffer today.
No, it will not suffer.
That is why when you are speaking, I keep quiet. I could interject, I could say things, but I keep quiet.
He's quiet now.
Mr. Co-host, I'm quiet.
Thank you. Now, when you call for a division, there are procedures to be followed. No stranger in the house. How is Oforiata under these circumstances not a stranger? I am even surprised that he sat there and took part in the voice vote. 4 of them sat and took part in the voice vote.
Took part?
That is even an issue we'll be raising.
Took part.
They ought not to have taken part in the voice vote, but they did. And still lost that one. Now, all the motions on the floor in question were moved by the MPP. All the 2 motions. The first motion, which vote was to have been taken, is motion number 10, moved by the Finance Minister. The second, in fact, 3 motions. The second motion, which was also moved by the Finance Minister to hold further consultation, which vote was taken and they lost. And the third one, which was moved by the deputy majority leader, to call for a division. When you call for a division, that a decision must be taken. Speaker must agree that, yes, a division has indeed been validly called. So when you do all this and you walk away, when you move a motion for a vote to be taken on it, a vote has been taken, you have called for a division, heads were to be counted. And before heads will be counted, you walked out to go and watch Prampec College wins natural maths and science quiz. Should minority wait for you or should Parliament wait for you? In any case, you didn't tell Parliament why you were going out. You have called for a division. You walk away. Speaker should beg you.
So why did you call for a division and walk away?
Hold on. Let me show you the law. Let me show him the law.
Hold on. Let me.
Hold on.
The host is asking a question.
No. That question will be addressed.
But the host is asking a question. No, hold on with the standing orders.
Don't run quickly and take advantage of that.
But hold on with the standing orders.
That question is suspended.
The host has asked the question.
Let me read the law.
That question.
Order 113 Rule 1. When the question has been put
by
Mr. Speaker
on this program,
at the conclusion of the debate, the vote shall be taken by voices aye and no, provided that Mr. Speaker may, in his discretion, instead of declaring the result and the voice vote, call for a head count. Now, Sub-Rule 5 says a member is not obliged to vote. So when you call for a division and you walk out, the rule says you are not obliged to vote.
You didn't walk out at that time.
At what stage did you walk out?
Not at that time.
You call for a division and walk out.
Let's clarify. At what stage did you walk out?
After calling for the division. After the decision or the discretion that was exercised by the Speaker of Parliament, that the finance minister and other members who were in the house, who are supposed to be protected.
Let me show you the law. Hold on. Let me show you the law of
Please let him finish.
You have spoken.
Please let him finish.
She was only looking for clarification.
Please let him finish.
No, it's done.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm saying that.
2 minutes.
I'm saying that.
Next time when you do this,
so
don't do this.
So you want to
order 114.
Please, no.
They are questioning. They are questioning the authority.
What I'm saying
it wasn't your time.
No, hold on. It's my time.
I asked him a question. I just want him to clarify.
She wants to know the time to which we walked out. And I'm telling you that we walked out of the discretion that, in our estimation, was illegal to have been exercised by the Speaker of Parliament. That some other members who are supposed to be given the privileges as members of Parliament, i.e. the Vice President, Ministers of State, Deputy Ministers, who are supposed to be part of proceedings of Parliament.
Forgive me if I'm wrong. Are privileges rights? Is privilege law?
I have educated him. He still doesn't want to get educated. I've quoted the law that
privileges
when you call for a division, if you are not a member of Parliament, your head cannot be counted. You can't be counted.
Where is he saying that?
Okay, so we have 5 minutes. Gentlemen,
let me go to the law.
I'm saying that they don't have. See, when you come to the assemblies, I am a member of Parliament. When I go to the assembly, I don't have a voting right. But when they are coming to vote, the MCE or the presiding member cannot sack me a member of Parliament.
Are you using the assembly?
Of course, it is the same.
No, it's not the same.
No, hold on, please.
It doesn't seem like it's the same.
No. Let me tell you why it is the same.
Vincent.
The fact that it is the same is that. No, hold on.
Don't make these submissions. No.
I'm saying that it is almost the same because I can participate in
the model standing orders.
I know this. I can participate in everything that is happening at the assembly. But I don't have a voting right.
Okay, I have one question.
The fact that I don't have a voting right at the assembly doesn't mean that when they are going to vote, they should sack me from.
I have one question for both of you. The presence of Ken Ofori-Atta. 1 second. You can answer this question and then continue. The presence of the Minister of Finance in the chamber. He did not have a vote. Did it matter if he was there or not?
It is his budget. He came to ask the Speaker of
Parliament. But in that moment, what you were voting on, would he have had a vote?
You are doing common
sense. Could he have said something?
You are doing common sense.
I am doing common sense because I'm speaking for Ghanaians. So a lot of big English and the law doesn't answer the question that you went to Parliament to do something and now the conversation has become about
rule of law.
Yeah, but the conversation has become about the Minister of Finance was there, so we are walking out. But he doesn't have a vote. So does it matter if he's there or not? Because Ghanaians are waiting for you to decide on a budget. And now we're here this morning discussing that the Minister of Finance wasn't here, there was division, there was this. Do you get this? I'm an ordinary Ghanaian. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a member of Parliament. I just want this to go through. What will it take for the NDC and the MPP to find common ground so that we can find a budget that works for the people of Ghana? You have 5 minutes. That's all the time that we have. So I need both of you to answer this for me. What would it take for the two of you and your parties to find common ground so we can move on for the good of the average, commonsensical Ghanaian?
Well, I am always telling you that, yes, you can have that commonsensical analysis. But who in this country doesn't know Ken Ofori-Atta? Which among us, members of Parliament, doesn't know Ken Ofori-Atta? It is proper to call them out, and especially the Speaker, that it was not right to call them out of the chamber at that time, because I am saying that, yes, he needs not partake in the voting, but if you are going to do head count, are you telling me that if Ken Ofori-Atta stands on his feet for him to be counted, we won't see?
Okay.
Is that the argument? We won't see. The Constitution says that we are supposed to accord him with all the privileges. As a member of Parliament, he has the right to partake in all the proceedings of Parliament. He is almost like a member of Parliament, but cannot vote.
So
if he cannot vote, so I'm just saying that what happened on Friday was putting something on nothing. It was illegal. We have to come back to the floor of the House as members of Parliament, majority and minority, to be able to, as it were, find a common ground. If they want to be a hard negotiator, the majority side also want to be hard negotiator, we won't get there. There should be some amount of compromise. And if they agree that indeed they did not have the numbers, as the standing orders clearly says, that you need 1/2, which they didn't have.
138.
You don't need anybody or a soothsayer to tell you that they did not have the 138. Okay. No, they didn't have it.
So tomorrow,
but if they agree, then it means that there should be a way for us to deal with this matter.
So tomorrow, hopefully, there'll be enough members. Question.
You have already asked the question. You are taking my time, please. you are eating away my time.
I'm giving you the time.
No.
I also want you to clarify.
No, he has impugned the authority of the Speaker to call for a division and asked the members of the House to leave.
I really want us to move on in this conversation.
No, we have to clarify that.
Because I feel like tomorrow all of that will be clarified.
Hold on, my dear.
But what the Ghanaian cares about, Mr. is whether you are going to come to some sort of consensus soon enough.
News regularly.
Yes, every week, and I'm here watching you when you do.
So please.
But I really need you to answer for me.
I will answer you.
Okay.
He has said certain things. I need to impeach the things he has said.
Okay, after you are done impeaching, will you answer that?
I will answer.
The 5 points that the NDC.
I will answer you.
Okay, sure. You have about 3 minutes.
In order 114, in the case of a division, Mr. Speaker shall direct that the lobbies be cleared, and upon such direction being given, the division bell shall be rung for 1 minute. After a lapse of 2 minutes from this direction, he shall put the question, and Mr. Speaker shall declare whether, in his opinion, the ayes or the noes have it. If his opinion is again opposed, he shall announce the names of 2 tellers for the ayes and 2 for the noes, and shall direct that a division be held. Now, he says that they moved out after a division has been called.
No, I never said that.
Please. You walked out after you called for the division.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm saying that when you call for a division and you walk out,
based on the
you walk out on your right to participate in the vote.
So okay, that's
the vote that has been taken.
You are losing the facts.
So you have come here and said things based on not law. Just you are asking that who doesn't know Foriata in this country? Is that the law?
The law
governing the procedure of Parliament.
It has privileges in the House.
Because Oforiatta is known, he should sit in Parliament to participate in a voice vote.
No, I never said so.
Four ministers of state sat among the MPP members of Parliament before the year's vote was taken.
And his colleagues were also in the House who said,
you understand?
Said no.
If you are talking about Seydou Ketia, then talk about the journalists too.
But that's what we are saying.
You understand? So it is a most relevant point you are making. Please, I've been quiet. Let me finish. So they are making a zero-sum argument. The MPP outsmarted themselves into damnation in this matter. And let me address your question. They must eat a humble pie. And I advised them last week that they should have spent this weekend drafting a new budget. It would have served their purpose. If they think that tomorrow they will come and bastardize the procedure in Parliament, they are in for it. You know why? Even the motion they want to file tomorrow, they will need notice. Pursuant to Order 79, you need to give notice that you want to file a motion.
There are some notices that you may not.
Hold on. You are talking of exceptions. Those exceptions, you have to be granted by the House. We'll vote on that. Pursuant to Order 80 also, you need a minimum notice of 48 hours. So they should stop talking hot air outside and on radio and come to Parliament. The procedure, the law is here. They should stop blowing hot air and come and talk. As for the procedure, now we'll play by the rules. Even variation of order of business, we'll be voting on it. If they think that they can take us for granted, they are not humble enough to say that, look, we err, and that we acknowledge that we err. And so let's sit down and do this. then they are running their own government aground. That cannot be the fault of the opposition at all.
According to
okay, so I'll give you the chance to give us your final words before.
You gave him final words, and I'm supposed to give my final words.
So I would like.
Oh no!
So when you see how difficult this is. When I say this one says this.
No,
when
it's
I
not
say
difficult.
this one says this.
All that I want to say is that the Ghanaian people should know and understand that indeed the NDC sought to put something on nothing. And so if the headlines has it that the budget has been rejected, it was done on an illegality, and so it cannot stand. As you rightly said, God willing tomorrow, it is not as if we are afraid of the NDC. If you are calling us to come to the chamber because you are making noise in the media, as if we are afraid of the NDC, no.
But if you are not afraid, you won't walk out.
But I'm just saying that we will get to the house, yes, and debate the matters.
Are you going to be on time tomorrow? Are you going to take time out
you won't spend 6 hours
and consult?
We have always been on time. But you see, what he failed to know is that if we have to bring a petition or file a motion on the floor of the House asking for more time to deliberate because of the points that they themselves raised during debate, i.e. the e-levy and others, as a government, we needed to take a decision. And taking a decision means that we needed to do broader consultation. That is what reflected in the House of Parliament when we filed that motion that we would need more time. It is not right to say that we deliberately decided to
what you say is not correct. This is not the first time they will be amending a budget. 2 years ago, when they omitted the Volta region from the budget, it didn't take them 6 hours to go and consult and a whole week to go and consult.
A whole week.
It was done expeditiously. So they should stop finding flimsiest of reasons for their Fox Power show on Friday. Friday, they got tactics wrong, they got approach wrong. Emotionally, they were destabilized.
According to Dafiam, the co-host.
Let me say a very big thank you to Mr.
You got it wrong on Friday.
Dafiam for MP for South Tayi and Vincent Eko Isuman, MP for...
Eko, Vincent Asifua. My father will come and deal with you.
I apologize.
I will urge you. For me to make sure that I had not erred, I had to do a quick double check of what the devil may care is. In fact, when you say somebody is a devil may care, all that I'm saying is that the person relaxed and looked on for certain things to happen. It's not an insult.
I think that on behalf of the Ghanaian people, we would like to appeal to you.
I mean, my brother is saying,
to Parliament, please remember that you are doing this for us.
Tell that to the government. They have been given the power to exercise the executive power. Don't direct this at the minority. Tell the government to be responsible.
When we come back, we'll be talking to the Nsmq champions for this year. We'll be crossing over to love.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
It's a very sad day for me. It's a very, very, very sad day for me. And you kind of begin to move on until those things are put into your face. Guess who I'm interviewing? I'm come to speak to now. Yes, I'm speaking to my friends from Keta Senior High Technical School who kicked Wesley Girls out of the Nsmq. But it's okay. For God and country, we shall do this. But congratulations to you guys. You did so well, so well, and we're so proud. There are quite a few multimedia journalists who came to Ketas. They're making a lot of noise, doing tune-on all over the place. So well done to you guys. How are we speaking to you soon? But I just want to speak to the kids first. How did it feel to come from being unrecognized. Nobody would have put their money on you guys from the beginning. I mean, you know that, right? Yeah, like to being the school that had everybody who didn't go to Prampec and didn't go to Prampec was rooting for you guys. How did that feel? Bright, cheer me a little.
Okay. It was very exciting to make it to the finals for the very first time in the history of our school, as well, and also the Volta region. So we were very much excited.
Okay, so when you were going in, did you think that, I mean, I know you were probably told, okay, you can do it, but did you really think in your heart that, okay, we will beat all these schools and get to the finals? Go ahead.
That was our aim. We went to a competition for the trophy. We will go into the finals and then we take the trophy home. But unfortunately, we couldn't take the trophy.
No, I don't even think it was unfortunate because you guys did so brilliantly. And you know that everybody loves you. Like, you guys are just something else to have done what you did. So let me speak to you now. What did it take to get your students?
Yeah.
First of all, even just the confidence, to say, build up that kind of confidence in them.
Yeah. So good morning to your viewers. It's such a great honor for us to be here on the show for Keta Secondary School. Well, it took a lot of effort for the school in preparing towards this competition. There's actually an Nsmq governing body in the school that is chaired by some old students who are actually being participants for the contest before. So you have the likes of Dr. Benjamin Boafo, Dr. Emmanuel Agbematu at the police hospital, who have actually spent some time. So this is something we have been doing behind the scenes in preparing, because you notice that year in, year out, we come out close to getting to the finals, then we are knocked down at the semi-final. So last year, a similar thing happened, and we're poised, we are determined that this year we're going to go far than just coming to the semi. So we went back to the drawing board quickly after the last competition and started working and mapping strategies towards that. So it's not surprising that we've come this far, and by far being the first school in the Volta region having come to the final stages of the Nsmq. And also for the fact that due to inclusion and diversity, the shine one way or the other seems to be coming to Kitasco. Yeah.
No, it pains me when you add, unfortunately, because, no, I say that because it definitely took you more than it did Prampec, who have done this, or even Prampec, who have won this. It definitely took you more. So please don't put unfortunately before it. It's an amazing thing, that you guys have done. And I mean, you talk about Francisca, and obviously, I mean, she is being celebrated, and we appreciate that it's teamwork. She would usually do 2 rounds, I think, and then you would substitute her. You were playing to the strengths, exactly, and it was teamwork, and your boys were brilliant. But women in Ghana are so excited. People who are nude, people who are messing about, people who are... So to just see a girl doing science and maths and being confident and speaking up is something that, we're all excited about. And I hope that in our celebration of that, it doesn't dim the teamwork that went into it and the amazing work that the boys have done as well. But Francisca, so let me ask you how it feels for you. In the first place, you're dealing with boys. Like, that's even stress on its own. Like, my team, they're all boys. They're very, very stressful. But how did it feel for you being up there and hearing this crowd of boys making noise and making noise and making noise? Like, how did it feel for you?
From there, our coordinators, Mr. Isaac Boatin, Mr. Kuku Achecho, our old students, took us through. We were able to learn how to manage pressure from the crowd. So then, by that, we got used to it. So then we didn't get scared of any school or
and all the pressure that came. What was it like being in a team with full of boys? Because the girls' schools will have different issues, all girls. But this was you and the boys. So what was that like?
It's very nice. The Kitasco Nsmq, actually we're a member of 12. Okay. 12 members.
12 members.
Yes, and we are 2 girls.
Okay.
And the rest are boys. But due to the unity in the team, the hard work from our colleagues, it's just so nice. You get to learn a lot from them. They are very loving. They give out their best.
Hey, you people are loving. You people don't look like loving boys. Are you sure they are loving?
Yes,
I see. Okay.
And the rest at home, our team leader, Sarah Francis, Okulu Elom, Tesla, that's Dogbe Wanda, and a lot whose name I can't mention.
Can't mention, of
We
course.
really appreciate them, and we are so much thankful to them for their hard work. They really did well.
Okay, so what are some of the things? What year are you guys in? You're in SHS 3.
Yes.
So this is it. This is it for you. It's not like you're coming back next year. What are your dreams? What do you want to do now? Now that you've done this, what's next for you? Let me start with you, Bright.
I'm going to pursue electrical.
I'm not your girlfriend, though. Stop whispering. Is this how you've been whispering to your girlfriend? So let me hear you properly.
I'm planning on reading electrical engineering.
You want to do electrical engineering?
Yes. And then I've applied to the local universities in Ghana, as Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, as well as University of Ghana, Legon.
Okay. Please, our universities, if you are listening, please, we've applied to you. So we are coming there on full scholarship too, please. What about you?
I also like to read medicine.
Okay.
And then I've also applied to the local universities.
Okay.
Kwame University of Science and Technology.
And then Legon. Okay, to do medicine. Okay, what about you?
Okay, I would also like to read medicine.
Okay.
And I applied to University of Ghana, Legon, and University of Health and Allied Sciences.
Okay. All right. Well, the universities are listening, so they've applied to you. I think that please don't make it too difficult for them, and we would appreciate that. So what are some of the lessons learned from the Nsmq generally and for the team, and what to expect next year? And what do you need? How do we help you? Augasco has a whole block for Science Lab. Prampec has this, Prampec has that. What does Ketasco need?
I think we should hear from the horse's mouth. So, Francisca.
Okay. What do you guys need?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, we do not have a science center of excellence. That's the Nsmq team. We just have some classroom where we do our studies and practice. So we'll be very glad if we get a science center of excellence, which will be well equipped with all that the students, that's our juniors, will need to practice with. For instance, we need some laptops and then tablets so that they can study with.
A generator would be nice so that if the lights go off, more textbooks, some Wi-Fi, internet maybe, so that you can access everything that you need.
So we are looking for all students, we are looking at having an ultra-modern science center of excellence, as Francisca said, and this center would actually have accommodation facilities as well as the laboratories as well, so that when they come in there study and
they can rest.
You'd find out that while they study in the classroom, when it's time to rest, they go to that huge dormitory to sleep alone whilst their colleagues are on vacation. So when we have this setup mainly fitted with all these facilities, it will be easier. And then you also notice that another logistical constraint we have as a school is the facility to move them, the vehicle to move them, doing the regional tours, doing the inter-school competitions.
So we need a bus too.
Need a bus as well. Then for a school as well, when we rather host other schools for competitions like this, where to have that facility becomes a challenge. So we are looking forward to the general public, corporate Ghana, benevolent people to come to our aid. We need an ultra-modern assembly hall that can accommodate many of these activities that we undertake in the school. And with all these things in place, we should be able to bring the trophy to the Volta region and Nsmq. Yeah.
Okay, so you heard it from Francisca first, the things that you guys need. Is there anything else that you think we've left out? You guys? No?
How about your dreams to pursue your studies abroad, if given the opportunity? Are you looking at schools abroad?
You are?
Yes.
So what are those schools? Let's hear them.
MIT.
MIT.
Use.
Where?
Use.
Okay. And where else?
I also like to go to Yale University.
You'd like to go to Yale? I see.
Yeah, so I hear them talking about all the schools whilst coming in the car. So it's just important that they put it out there so that those with the nursery support, those who can give them funding, can come to our aid.
Come to our aid. I mean, if there was any time that you wanted to use your money for something and you weren't sure what to do, I don't know how many Ghanaians are not sure about what to do with their money, but there are lots of people out there who can, and we would love it if you could help Keta. We need a science center, we need a bus, we need some laptops and tablets and an assembly hall. We really just need to equip them so that they can continue to shine. Now, James, right?
Yeah.
You were the super sub for the Nsmq. How did it feel for you in that moment when you looked up and you saw Prampec and Prampec, and you were like, okay, yes, this is, how did you feel in that moment going up against those two schools?
That's what I actually like. Like, I really like seeing a crowd. So
You really liked, I can't hear you.
I really like seeing the crowd shouting. So going onto that stage, I was very happy going to, like, just seeing a crowd.
You enjoyed it, eh?
Yeah, I really
you enjoyed firing.
Yeah.
Okay, what's about you, Brett?
Same.
You also enjoyed firing. How were you able to? You are the one who did that, and you were answering questions that they hadn't finished asking. And then the quiz just goes like, how? How did you answer the question? Tell us.
Okay, so like for that particular question, like all the relevant things that were needed for the question to be solved had already been given. So like that was why I rang and then gave the answer.
I see. So even though she hadn't asked the question, you knew that based on the information that had been given.
Exactly.
That was amazing. Definitely one of the highlights of the Nsmq.
Yeah.
To hear you answer the question like that. I'm going to give you the chance to give out the details, but before that, I pray that all your dreams come true, because you guys are amazing and you deserve the best. And Francisca, there's so many little girls who are watching, you know. A lot of them had their hopes in Gehe that, you know, we would go to the finals, but we didn't, and it's all good.
Yeah.
But you did, you were there. And for us, you know, it was nice to see a woman up there. So I just want you to talk to all the little girls who, you know, are dreaming of one day going to the Nsmq and you know, really just tell them that, you know, you don't actually have to be a slay queen. You can actually be a book queen and, you know, and still shine. So, you know, what do you have to say to them?
Okay. I want to tell them that they should be very strong, believe in themselves, and then follow their dreams. They should work very hard and be very humble, because through humility you achieve a lot. So wherever they find themselves, they should remain humble, and with God they can reach higher heights.
Thank you so much. So apparently people are creating fake accounts with your name.
Yes,
so let's clarify how to give and how to make sure that you're actually giving to the school.
So the first disclaimer will be that Francisca never has or doesn't have any social media page.
Okay.
So if you see any social media page out there in the name of Francisca Lamini, it is false, it is fake. Don't use it. If you want to reach out to us, you reach out to us via 056 000 231. Or if you want to make donations to the school, you can do that via our Access Bank account. That's Kita School Past Students Association, and the account number is 100900000 6 zeros in between, then 72.
Okay, give us the phone number again so that we can put it on the screen.
So the phone number is 056 0000231, and that's for Mr. Wasiu Yusuf, who is the General Secretary of the Past Students Association.
Okay.
Then we would like to put out another short code with the merchant number, that's *718*800#, and the merchant ID is 056001. So you see Kita School Past Students Association, and you can make your donations to help us. Anyway, before we go, I'd like to say a big thank you to the past students of Keta Secondary School. Many of them donated generously towards the cause of the Nsmq team and continue to do so. This year's competition, one way or the other, the burden has been lessened, but from their contribution. If I should start mentioning names here, I won't finish. So okay. I'll keep that open. But then I'd like to thank the headmaster, Mr. Jijenyo, as well as our president of the past students in the person of Mr. Kojo Mata, who is the immediate past MD of Apex Bank, as well as some benevolent souls like Mr. Standogbe, Mr. Kerry Pettis Okujeto, who donated. And many others, great Jolalians, Ben Duchimalo, who is in the UN, and many others. And then Miss Madame Ayayi of Traffics, Bella, who hosted them to lunch yesterday, and Samens of CTFM, and many other people who have been donating to this cause.
And the many that are yet to come.
And many that are yet to come.
Because we need a center of science excellence. We need a bus. We need an assembly hall. We need laptops and tablets. We need admission to Legon, to KNUST, admission to MIT and to Yale. Yes, we are praying for you. We're rooting for you. Thank you guys so much. You made us so proud. It was such a pleasure to watch you guys. And we forgive you for taking Wesley girls out. But it's all good. You know, you guys were fantastic. So that's it. Your superstars, people. Ketasco, yes, they did the impossible. The great Jolali. The great Jolali, yes. And when I say they did the impossible, I'm purely referring to my school. Nothing more. But here are your superstars. Let's help them out. Let's support the school. And they've really shown that they're made of some really great stuff. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, some more interesting stuff for you. Don't go anywhere.